So I'm so happy to be back today with all my animals in the room joining me, with my lovely, lovely friend and colleague, professional colleague as well, Danielle Matthews. And we're going to be talking about something that we're both so passionate about today, which is our new health normal. And now
Mhm.
we all know there's a lot of agendas around the new normal, but what Daniel and I do is we see so much in our work about what's possible when people start to really upgrade their life in all areas. But before we dive deep into that, Danielle, how are you doing? And can you tell the listeners? I know a lot of my listeners are really familiar with you, but we've got a lot of new people as well. A little bit about yourself and all the work that you do.
Sure, I'd be happy to. And I love talking with you. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Just a little background on me. I got a degree in biology. I'm here in the United States. I went to the University of Virginia. I've always been fascinated by how the body works. Like I'm like a curious puppy. I'm like, well, what is that? How does that work? And what about this? And oh, there's this. And my mom growing up, like my grandfather was a doctor, her dad. And so whenever we had any sort of health issues, we always called him and he told us like, well, this is what it is. And if you need a professional, go here. And my mom, I don't know if it was like a response to him or what, but she sort of went the exact opposite way where growing up, she was putting essential oils on my feet and I was a big swimmer. So she was putting some concoction of like garlic oil, garlic and olive oil, like in my ears when I had swimmer's ear. And so I grew up like with both realities of like what you can do to support your health. And, after college, I lost my health in a pretty tragic accident. I was hit by a drunk driver and sustained a brain injury. And so my life, Catherine, went like on a completely different track. At 23, you don't have a plan B. So I didn't have any other source of income or way to stay independent. So I ended up having to move back to my parents because I couldn't work and found myself really on a journey of healing, and one that was really intense because a year into my accident, talking about the new normal, I was told by my neurologist that all the symptoms I had, my body had done the healing it would do, and to adjust my life to this new normal. And at 24, I was being told, oh, your new normal is you're going to have migraines every day of your life. You can't handle light. You can't handle noise. You can't concentrate for more than 10 minutes at a time. And I just said, the heck with that. Like, there's no way that's going to be my life. But I realized, I had a lot of anxiety. I had a lot of depression. I was having panic attacks. There were so many layers to what was going on with me. And, through time, and it took time, I learned how to master my inner world. I started to ask questions about really more esoteric questions, right? Like, well, why am I here? And what is the purpose of all of this? And, can I manage the fact that I'm wanting to just cry all the time? And can I stop these thoughts that are just really spinning me into anxiety? And I learned how to master my inner world. And when I did that, sort of the mental, emotional, spiritual aspect of life started to gain a lot more clarity for me. And then the physical side, the answers came when I found a technology called redox signaling, which I've been on here talking about before, and that really helped my physical body. And so, we're coming on 12 years. June 23rd will be 12
Wow.
years since that accident. And I have spent the last 12 years, two of them were on my own healing journey, but then the last decade has really been trying to figure out how to support others on their journey, whether that is with the physical aspect, the mental, the emotional, or the spiritual aspect of life. And there's a lot of different things that I pull in to support people because it's just people don't understand the power within them, like the power within them to get the best out of life, the most out of life, and also these things that are there that are not in the mainstream. There are hidden agendas. There's so many different things out there going on. There's also just business, right? People wanting to be at the top of business. Like everything isn't always, terrible. But there's so many options. And I'm so grateful when I met you because it was like, oh, here's a woman that gets it. Like she is just putting all of the options out there for people so you can become educated, right? And you remind me so much of me of just like, well, what about this? And what does this do? And
Yes.
how does this? And, I think that's why, we're like kindred spirits.
I love it. And I don't often talk. I think a lot of my listeners don't know my background, but in a nutshell, there's so many similarities to you, which is why I think we just do get on so well. Because I'm a biologist as well. And I was that student at school and university that used to drive all my lecturers mad by saying, why? How? What about this? What about that? And everything. So on many occasions, I used to get moved to the back of the class because they got sick to death of my questioning. But it's so fascinating when you look at nature, when you look at the soil's ability to heal, animals' ability to heal, our ability to heal. And I didn't have any medical professionals in my growing up, but I was very close to my grandfather, and he died when I was very, very young of cancer. And he was very unfortunate enough to be one of the first people in the UK to be given chemotherapy. And the trauma that gave my mother having to take him to that and literally seeing him burnt alive by it was horrific, absolutely horrific. And so I sort of can remember being exposed to that sort of very young. And my mother was also then got very into, because she had loads of rescue animals and everything, very into homeopathy and natural remedies. So like you, Danielle, I've got on one side, I've got my very scientific, you know, I love the science and I'm an eternal student. And on the other side, when I then had my own children, I went big time into holistic healing. Homeopathy, herbal medicine. I love things like something called zoopharmacognosy, which is self-medicating, how, you know, using, it's like being a herbalist, but instead of prescribing certain things in certain amounts for certain conditions, you work with the human or the animal to see what their body needs and which ones. Light therapy. And recently I've been really lucky enough to do Danielle's sort of inner management mastery course on yoga nidra and yoga therapy, which is absolutely fantastic. I cannot recommend that enough for people. But you and I are both passionate about learning and sharing, and we have seen with humans, with animals, with plants, with soil, we see the most incredible transformations possible, don't we? And I think with so much information going on today, quite often people have forgotten, particularly once they get to my age, they've forgotten what real vibrant health feels like, what real movement, flexibility, being able to use your body in all the ways it's designed to. And last night I was lucky enough to go and see live Barbara O'Neill in in London, and she was fantastic. Now she's in her 70s. She's a naturopath, she's an advocate, teacher. As she said, she doesn't call herself a healer, she's a teacher of sharing how nature really does have all the answers. And when you see Barbara in real life, she is so supple, so toned. So she's got, you know, she looks like any 20-year-old would be very proud to look and move like, and her energy levels. So I think sometimes we get caught in this myth that as you get old, you know, I've got friends who are the same age of me, and they're like, well, now we're this age and now we're that age. And I'm like, fuck at that. You know, I'm not falling for that lie. You're like this as well, aren't you? You see with the work that you do with people, so many transformations that people don't even realize possible: physical, emotional, spiritual.
Yeah. I don't think people realize what they're holding on to. You know, emotions from childhood, traumas that happen, things that occur to us, like they shape us. They even
Mhm.
shape the way we hold our body, whether you have rounded shoulders or your hips are a certain way. And so these things just get put into us and it feels normal. We think it's normal. Like, oh yeah, my low back always hurts. Or, oh yeah, I always get a twinge, you know, in my shoulder, or my stomach always acts up when I'm anxious. Like, it's not normal. Right? Your
Yeah,
body is the subconscious mind. The body is always trying to speak to you and to let you know. And it's communication is through sensation, right? And it's trying to let you know what's going on. But I think, you know, Catherine, I just traveled to Colombia, and it always is, I think, incredible to go to a completely different culture, because the things that you think are just normal, you go there and they're not, right?
yeah,
I was like just totally amazed that down there, like when you ordered juice, they literally took the mango, put a little bit of water, you know, put it in a blender, and you got mango juice. Here, you know, it's like from concentrate with sugar
yeah,
and all that stuff, and you're like, this isn't food, you know,
yeah,
but it's so normal in our culture. Well, everybody drinks it and everybody gives it to their kids, and it's the thing that's on the commercials, and oh, they have it at school, and it's everywhere. So we think it's normal, and it's like, hang on, time out. How is this serving my body? Is this what my body needs? And you go somewhere else and you have real mango juice and you go, holy cow, the vibrancy in my body. It's like the amount of life I just gave my body. I can feel the difference. You know, your skin starts to look different. Everything starts to look different. So I think it's just a lack of understanding, I think, for some people about you know, the fact that they don't have to be stuck in this way. You don't have to deal with these things that you've thought you've had to. And also just culturally, I think it's
yes.
kind of frightening to watch, like, mannequins are changing. Like they're making them bigger. Like it's like normal and okay to be larger. And it shocks me because I'm like, hang on, this is not good for the heart. It's not good for digestion. Like, why are we saying that this is okay? Like we should be addressing this. We should be helping people. If you've got anxiety and it's causing you to just like put on a lot of pounds, we need to address the root, and support you. Like, otherwise you're going to start to have a ton of physical symptoms. I was just with friends of mine that they're my age, and I was being told the list of medications that they're on. And I was looking at them like why? And they looked at me like, well, why wouldn't I be on this stuff? Like, it's meant to help. And I'm like, holy moly, like you're too young to be on medications like that. Like, what about exercise? Look at your diet, cut out the alcohol. Like, what are the things that you're doing that are actually poisoning your system? And I didn't know. It wasn't until I was 23 and lost my health that I even realized, oh, when I eat pizza, it makes me have brain fog. Oh, drinking alcohol is literally poisoning my body.
Yeah.
Huh. And I started to realize, because I was forced to, I started to realize all the things that were impacting my own health, how exercise made me feel, the amount of sleep that I got, the input from just even like the lights on a computer screen or a TV screen or things like that. I went, holy cow, your body is processing so much all of the time. And I became hyper aware of it because I wasn't processing well. And I like even just a quiet environment, not having a fan running or anything. Like there's so much that we put our bodies through, stresses, that we're all in like this chronic state of stress. Like no wonder cortisol levels are through the roof in people and everyone's stressed out and having all these issues. Like, because people just aren't aware. We think it's normal. Everyone's got their phone in their hand doing whatever. And it's just like, we need to wake people up. It doesn't need to be that way.
Completely. And it's such a good thing that you said about traveling, because I always remember one of my friends, David Sandville, who I always thought I was pretty healthy. And then it was probably about, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. I used to do a lot of gymnastics. I was a gymnast as a child, loved it. Gymnastics and horse riding, always mega flexible. And then I got to sort of probably 40, and I lost a lot of flexibility because I was doing a lot of strength and stuff with my job and heavy lifting and things. And it was incredible, Danielle, because I started having real problems with my hips. And I went to the doctors, and the doctor sort of said, sent me for the scan, sent me the x-rays, sort of said, yeah, your hips are bone on bone. It's fine. We'll give you a double hip replacement. I was like, oh, no, hang on a minute. At the moment, the hip replacements last about 15 years. So how many of these am I going to go through? Secondly, like, I've got 2 young children, I've got loads of animals. So how on earth am I going to manage with this? And thirdly, I was like, you're not even going to ask me about my diet and stuff. Oh, no, that's nothing to do with it. It's just, hereditary, wear and tear, do this. So I thought, no way. A bit not as extreme as your case at all. But I was like, no, this isn't going to happen. So I literally went on the next stage of my health journey. So I thought I was quite healthy. I wasn't. My body was in an inflamed state. It was telling me by my hips. So then I got very into the next level of health supplements, the next level of movement, exercise, sleep, hydration, the type of water you drink, the amount of water you eat. It's not just what you eat, but when you eat it. Miraculously, 90% of my hip problems went away. I only had a problem getting on and off a horse. You can live with that, even though horse riding is my absolute passion, but I can manage with that. So it's incredible how much we're told is that's just the way it is. It's just this. Now, I was told it's just hereditary because my mum had a hip replacement, my twin sister had, but I proved it's not. And as this friend David Sandville said, it's like when people get type 2 diabetes, it's not that the type 2 diabetes runs in their family, it's that no one runs in their family. Meaning the exercise side of things. And this isn't about shaming. There's nothing to do with this about body shaming. I think there's not going to be a single person on here that hasn't got some health issue. And it's not because it's not made easy for yourself. As a Briton living over here, when I come over traveling to America, I'm horrified at the food. Horrified, can't believe it. When someone from Colombia comes to Britain, they'll be horrified at our food. at our chemtrails, at our water, at our weather. So the thing is, what we get used to, as you say, culturally, you've only got to look at what people consider normal breakfast in different areas of the world. I used to work for Nokia and do a lot of traveling to Finland. And what you get served for breakfast in Finland bears no comparison to what you get served in breakfast from England. So an English person might say, I'm having a really healthy breakfast. And to them it is, because it's better than some of the, fried sausages and fried egg. But someone from another culture will come and watch what we eat and be absolutely horrified, because to them, they really do have a different level of health, like you were saying in Colombia. So it's hard for people, isn't it? We can see why we don't know what we don't know.
Yeah, and it's tricky because there's so much information out there, but it's
Mm.
disguised. Like it's actually marketing. I worked actually for I worked in the marketing department of a financial firm for a little while, and I was blown away. Like they had a partnership with their local newspaper, and I was in all of the meetings. And so basically what would happen is that their advertising was disguised as an article. So the article would be about something like the importance of some type of, like an IRA or something like this. And it would come across as like a professional educating you about why this is important. But really, it was just set up to funnel you to then reach out to them to get this
Yeah.
set up. So like information is being disguised to us, and it looks normal. It looks like an article. Oh, I'm getting educated. No, it's completely biased. There's an agenda behind it. And it's like shocking,
Mm.
like shocking when you start to go, holy cow. And they're really good. Like marketers know how to hack the mind. They know how to get in there and to make you think that you want that, or to get beyond, they know how to tap into the emotions. And so it's just, you have to be so aware. There's so many levels of like, okay, and this is why I teach people, look, you need to learn that you have you have intuition. You have an
Yeah.
internal guidance system that is going to help you be able to make choices. It's going to help you be able to call BS, or to feel that energy just feels off. I don't know why it feels off, but I'm not into that. Or this food, no, like this isn't going to give life to my body. I don't want it. And once you're able to just like, you can quiet the external world a little bit and quiet your own mind, because your mind has been programmed since you were young in the
Yes.
culture you're living in. And so it's like, it's an uphill battle, but the truth of the matter is it becomes very easy once you learn how to just center yourself, understand when your body's talking to you, right? Like you realize, holy cow, I'm just inflamed. Like,
Yeah.
what can I do? Like, what makes me feel better? What doesn't? How much water is it that I need? And when I drink that amount, what's the difference in my sleep, in my skin, and just like my alertness? And you start to just get keyed in more and more. But we're so externalized in this society. And unfortunately in Colombia too. I mean, I was watching everybody, they're just on their cell phones. And so
Yes.
we're constantly being pulled out and then being told what we should want and like and do. And it's wild. The world we're in right now is wild. But you've got the power inside you. And that is where it's like, look, you can become self-empowered. You just need to learn to cut all of that out and learn how to trust yourself and learn how to trust your own body.
I love it. And so what Daniel and I do a lot in different ways, but very similar objective, is really help people transform and break free of those habits that are no longer serving them. And one of the ways we do that, I mean, one of the things, when I was talking, we both got our blue bottles behind us. And, the reason Danielle and I use tools like the Redox ASEA is because we are bombarded, and it's not easy. Where I live in the UK, where you live in America, if we go into a big supermarket, a lot of the stuff in there is not real food. A lot of it is covered with chemicals. God knows what it's got stayed on. To have an apple that lasts 2 years, you've got to be asking yourself why. So it's very, very hard for people. So sometimes, we both love Joe Dispenza. I'm going to see Bruce Lipton next weekend as well in London.
Are you? I adore him.
We all adore him. So Danielle and I are on the same wavelength. We both believe that you can heal yourself through the power of your mind and body and heart alone. But I'm not there yet. I have not reached that level of enlightenment yet. So I need certain tools. And one of the things that I think really stands out with something like the Redox, and we see all the time the clients using it, is with any drug, and I'm not against pharmaceutical drugs at all. There's a time and a place for that. If I break my leg, I'm very grateful for the hospital and the surgeons. Thank you very much. But every single pharmaceutical drug has what's called a lethal dose 50. and a lethal dose 50 is how much of that drug you need to take before it will start damaging you or kill you. And so we all know, I mean, we call it paracetamol, you know, headache pills. I don't know what you call it in America, but we know that if we have a really bad migraine, you can't take the whole packet of headache pills because it will kill you.
Yep.
But the body is amazing, and working with natural substances like the ASEA, you cannot overdose on this when you give your body what it wants. So your body responds in such an amazing way. Going back to the zoopharmacognosia, the animals self-medicating, a lot of our pharmaceutical products are actually based on the fact of studying what animals select in the wild and then go and making synthetic versions of it. So, you know, aspirin, salicylic acid comes from the willow tree and the birch tree and things. So it's really fascinating when you look at the origins of how these drugs come about. But when your animals are eating the whole tree or the whole leaves and branches and everything for pain relief, there's not just a salicylic acid in there, there's other compounds that buffer the body from the harmful effects of it. So when we allow our bodies to work with what it really needs to rebalance, it's working on every level in the order that your body needs it to rebalance. And one of the things we find a lot with the ASEA is that, you know, some people take it because they've got a really serious challenge going on in their life and they need to give their body that extra support. But other people, like when I started taking it, I'm not saying I had no health issues, but nothing, touch wood, drastic. So I was taking it to slow down the aging process and maintain and just gradually improve on good health. I then gave some to my mother and I ran out for about 4 or 5 days. And boy, oh boy, did I notice a difference when I stopped taking it. You've seen this a lot with people as well, haven't you?
I have. You know, it's interesting. We're inundated with so much, like just toxins and stuff. And so our bodies are constantly, like our bodies are amazing at being able to say, hey, that doesn't belong here, get it out. You know, and so we're constantly detoxing. We're also constantly dealing with like cancer and things. Like there's mutated cells in our system all the time. It's just that the body identifies it and gets rid of it. Like that's just sort of like standard operating procedure, right? And I think that what I have found so incredible with the ASEA, because like you, I mean, I started it because I had a health issue, but I've stayed on it for a decade. And I haven't been to the doctor in a very long time, right? I'm like, I've got a lot, thank goodness, like of beautiful health happening. And the question I get all the time, well, why would you continue to take that? Like, why are you spending money every month to put redox into your body? Like, it doesn't make sense, Danielle. You're young, you're vibrant, you're healthy. And I tell people, look, I don't know what my body is fighting on a daily basis. I know I try to be healthy, but I can't, the air, like there's stuff happening that I can't do anything about that's through the air. And, you know, and when you're traveling and you're with people and you're exposed to things, like there's just a lot happening right now in the world. And so it's like, okay, what can I do to make sure like the guard's up? Right, that my body has like the shields in place and is able to like just be able to. Your dog agrees with me. Exactly. I've got mine here. I'm glad he didn't hear it because he'd start barking back. So thinking about those things, it's like if you want your system's defenses to be high, you got to think about what you can do to support that. And to me, that's what redox does. It just sets the alert call so that like everything's ready to go. The body can hear where issues are and be able to, you know, take care of them more rapidly so that they never creep up. So you're never going to the doctor because you have some weird thing. And, you know, I was traveling, I think it was for Thanksgiving, like a couple of years ago, and I forgot to bring the redox with me. And I don't know, packing, whatever, it was last minute. And I was like needing to nap, like at 2:30. I was like, I'm tired. Like, and this is not normal. Like, I don't nap, you know? And like it was several days in a row. And then finally I looked at my boyfriend. I said, oh my God, I didn't bring ASEA with me. No wonder I feel so out of it. Right? And it's just, I think people find that like, that's just normal. Oh, there's a dip in the afternoon. Oh, that's normal. Like, no, when you have redox in your system and your body's like firing on all cylinders, like it's not normal to be sleepy. You have sustained energy. And so, you know, this is something that I work with a lot of people that just, I think, they're sort of tired of what they've been fed and told. They're realizing I'm not at my optimum. This isn't getting me where I want to go. And so, you got to do something different. And so redox is very different. It's not nutrition. It's not an antioxidant. It's not all these things that we're used to hearing about. It really is a way to just support your body in being at its best. And so I have people that, like yourself, don't have a lot of issues going on, but they're like, look, I don't want to feel worse than I feel today, a year from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now. I don't want to look like I'm aging. I want my optimum. And this is why I have been educating on this for nearly a decade, because I'm like, in my own journey, I haven't come across anything that works at the foundation and can support people so profoundly, each person individually, and plants and animals, right? It's safe to use wherever, and it's a true gift. It's really a true gift, and I want people to feel the way you feel, the way I feel, like the vibrancy. I call it the ASEA glow that people get.
Yes.
It's like the lights come on in people. That life force is stronger. And you mentioned Joe Dispenza, and I work with a lot of different people, and for whatever reason, a lot of people that study with him, I talk to, and people say to me, well, Danielle, like, if you actually follow what he's saying, like, you don't need anything else. Everything is within you. And I teach that too. I teach there is a lot of power that you can tap into within you. But the truth of the matter is, all the gunk and the toxins and the stuff in your system are going to weigh you down. It's like having a weight on you, trying to rise up. And so it's like, let's get rid of the weight that's in the physical body. Let's clear the physical body. Let's cleanse the physical body so that it's feeling your best. Like, if your hips hurt, you can't sit down to meditate. Like, there's problems, that we need to start to address. And why wouldn't you have support? Just why wouldn't you've had him on your show, Gurudev Amrita Sai.
Oh, love him.
Yeah, 92-year-old spiritual teacher. He absolutely knows and can connect in with this. He takes redox.
Yeah.
If you go into his house, literally his kitchen is filled with different supplements and things, because he knows, well, my physical body needs some aid, right?
Yes.
It itself will be aging. So I need to support it as best I can. It just makes sense.
You're so right. And this is why I feel, as I said, every single person watching this, our lifestyles are different, our stresses are different. Everything's been going well, like you with your accident. Most people, unfortunately, have had some curveball thrown at them once, twice, multiple times in their life. I'm very well aware of, it's almost a bit like one of my specialities is really helping people understand, well, why is our body under so much stress at the moment? Why are our animals' bodies under so much stress at the moment? Because no sane person would put into our food supplies what's being put into our food supplies at the moment. I mean, whoever thought that they would come up with these awful chemicals and that you have to put hazmat suits on to go and spray the food growing in the fields? Hello, there's a real disconnect there. But the reality is, as you said, a lot of us can't do a lot about this, even when we're trying the best we can to buy all organic and whatever. There's still so many limitations in what we do. So my view is, let's make life easy for ourselves. Barbara O'Neill, who was talking last night, she looked amazing, absolutely amazing. Her vibrancy, her essence, and she's not big into supplements at all because she's so good on lifestyle. She is absolutely spot on her sleep. I'm not, because I love my work, but most of my clients are on the other side of the world. So I tend to work very late into the night. I'm then really on a high energy because I love my work so much, and therefore it takes me a while. And with all my animals, I am up very early in the morning doing them. So these extra tools and things really help me balance when my lifestyle choices are possibly falling down. Traveling up to London yesterday, I really noticed the pollution and the stress because all the trains are cancelled and you want to be somewhere on time and things like this. Both my children have been traveling and both of their planes were cancelled. My plane was cancelled when I came out to America last year. These little stresses like that, and big stresses like having a loss of a loved one, a job, a financial crash, a health challenge yourself or with someone that you love. These things happen, and giving ourselves the tools. For me, part of the spiritual development is listening and knowing when you need help. And that help could be your body needs help. It could be you need emotional support. And I suppose that can be quite difficult for some people.
Yeah, I think people sometimes are really, they're not focused on themselves. I mean, sometimes it's a self-worth thing. They don't believe
Mm.
that they're worth spending money on. I've watched people that will spend more money on their dog or their
Yeah.
cat to get their health better than their own health. It's wild. Yeah.
Mm.
It's so interesting. But these are these seeds that I talk about, like stuff that gets programmed in when we're young about our own worth, what we deserve, or like, oh, it's more important for me to worry about my kids than my own health. They're the priority. It's like, well, time out. You're no use to anybody when you lose your health. I've lost mine. You can't serve. You can't do. It's not a good situation. You need to keep yourself vibrant, get yourself healthy. You will be amazed at how more fully you can show up as a mom, as a wife, as a parent to your four-legged animals. Like, you're going to be able to do so much more in your work. Like, the world needs strength. Like, there is so much. I mean, there's just a lot, there's a whole nother conversation, but there is so much going on right now that, there's this almost like a spiritual war, I feel like, happening. And you need to be in your highest, best self to address what's going on and to be able to lead others, because that's what we need. We need leadership. We need people that are clear, that have an internal guidance system, that aren't going to be swayed by other things, and know how to communicate with their own body and how to get their body what it needs and to respect their body. I think a lot of people are used to, oh, well, someone else will take care of me, or they'll do this, or they'd rather go to the doctor and be given something to help them lose weight versus taking on, walking for 30 minutes in the morning every day. Like, this like self-accountability. I don't know what it is that's gotten bred into us.
Yeah.
There is something that has gotten bred into people that's like, like, well, I'm a victim and someone needs to help me and I don't have the power. And it's bizarre. And I just want to tell people, take your power back. You've got it. You got everything you need. And, if you need some guidance, reach out.
Yeah.
There are people that have walked the path. And we want to help other people kind of walk that path. And it's self-empowerment, right? If anyone ever tells you that you need to rely on someone outside of you, no. Like, even with ASEA, I tell people, look, get educated, ask all the questions, do your due diligence. But at the end of the day, I need you to run it through your own truth center. Does this resonate? Is this something that's meant for you, or is it not? Like that, because I want people to be empowered with that. Then that's how you can make every decision in life.
I absolutely love it. And I just think that is absolutely perfect. There's so many problems out there, and it can be so hard not to focus on those. But the beauty is there's so many solutions out there. And one of the things, you hit the nail on the head there, Danielle, about so many people, particularly parents, whether your parents are 2 or 4-legged babies. I found this very hard, but we know if you've got human children, they do what you do, not what you say. So if they see you not looking after yourself, that is what they're going to grow up with, their belief systems. And as a parent, you learn that often the hard way. And so that, I'm not a grandparent yet, but I hope to be. I've got the guinea pigs, I've got the Shetland pony, the rabbits, I'm ready. But in all seriousness, it's so important when you meet people that walk the talk. It's obvious, and it's not about having all your stuff sorted. It's about every single person has got a little bit of the jigsaw puzzle, and we all help each other. Danielle's helped me massively recently with your yoga nidra and yoga therapy course. It's fantastic, something that, a new area for me. And there's so much help out there for wherever anyone starts. So we would really love you to reach out to us if you need help, if you want to really feel how good it feels to feel vibrant. I'm on my next journey. I'm really obsessed with I don't know if you've seen it, Danielle, but when you see, how children can, monkey crawl and climb under this, and they're so agile, and I think Danielle's frozen for a moment, internet issues. But in terms of being able to move your body really fantastically, that's what really works. And I think if you need help, then please reach out to us. Our internet froze then for a bit, so sorry about that, everyone. But yeah, whatever it is you're working with, we would encourage you to start today. If you need help on your journey, reach out. Danielle, how's the best place for people to reach you?
I would say Instagram. It's just my name, Danielle Matthews, with an underscore on either end, and it's me there. You can get me. Just send me a message to talk, and it's the best thing. It's okay to ask for help. I had a real big block with this myself, Catherine, like wanting to to seek guidance from other people. I felt, I don't know, like it was going to burden them or whatever, but it's like, the truth is people like yourself, me, like we want to help. Like, we're like, hey, we've learned some things that we think would make your life better. Like, please ask.
Yeah.
We want to support. So don't hesitate, reaching out.
Don't hesitate reaching out. So you can reach Danielle Matthews on Instagram. Her details will be below. For me, you can comment below. Below the video, there's always a description box. You click the down arrow and it opens up the description box. My email's in there, CatherineEdwards.life17. I had to think about that, at gmail.com. I'm on Instagram, CatherineEdwards.life. Reach out to us, ask for help. This is how we shift the collective vibration. This is how we make changes in all our environment. We all help each other to be the best versions of ourselves. And I'll tell you what, when we are, we're untouchable by whatever else might be worrying you. So reach out today. Thank you so much, Danielle. I love it. And if you've got any questions for people that are watching, please put them in the comments below. We'd be really happy to answer.
Yeah. Thanks, Catherine. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. And if you feel inspired, please do share with your friends and family. This helps us spread the word and also helps me encourage some exciting new guests to take part in this podcast. And above all, stay curious and stay free.